Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad have focused their efforts on retaking Damascus in the past week. But this has never happened before in Assad's seat of power. Syrian state TV says a government helicopter simply crashed in the al-Qaboun neighborhood. But activists tell a different story. They say the Free Syrian Army shot it down as it bombed another district.
After shutting down that helicopter, actually these areas are being shelled now violently. People are really horrified, and they are trying actually to go to a safer place, but they don't know how.
The helicopter was reportedly attacking the district of Qaboun, not far from the centre of Damascus, and it went down by a mosque over al-Qaboun. Fighting has intensified since the crash. This was the scene in Qaboun district further northeast. Activists say the government is shelling Damascus in retaliation for the helicopter crash. The rebels are outgunned on several fronts, but the downing of such a visible symbol of the regime is likely to give them a boost.
Well, that was James Bays, and James is monitoring events for us in Beirut in neighbouring Lebanon. The FSA claimed to have shot down a helicopter over Damascus. There's smoke from explosions billowing all over the capital, bringing the war back to Damascus, James?
Well, I think that is true, and I think actually we've seen in almost the last week a great intensification of the battles taking place in the capital. We've also had these claims, as you're aware, in the last 48 hours or so from Daraa on the suburbs of Damascus, that a lot of people have been killed there. Claims that it's well over 200, the activists claiming. It's hard, though, for us, the media, to get a very accurate picture of what's going on in Damascus. And that's for a simple reason, that in the north, places like Idlib and Aleppo, the Free Syrian Army have made gains that have allowed access for journalists. They're able to get across that border to find out what's going on. In Damascus, much harder for independent journalists to get there, much harder to get anywhere close to the capital city. So most of the reports we're getting from there are either coming from activists and from the Free Syrian Army, who clearly have an agenda. They're on one side of this battle, or they're from the journalists that are allowed in on a government visa, but they are heavily supervised and their movements are restricted.
So very hard for you, indeed, sort of any journalist trying to analyse this war, to work out the strength, for example, of the FSA possibly in the suburbs of Damascus. But what you all do know is the ferocity of a very uneven battle is going to make diplomacy for the new envoy even harder.
Very hard for Ambassador Brahimi as he begins his work now, because it is clear that both sides are engaged in military action, very intense military action. As you say, it is still a very uneven battle. Throughout the last 18 months, effectively, the government side have controlled the air. They have that key of air superiority, which those fighting on the ground, and even on the ground, the government have the tanks, whereas the rebels only have small arms. But perhaps that is beginning to change. We have had reports that surface-to-air missiles, a small number, have made it into parts of Syria, and that they are being used in some places by opposition fighters. It's not clear, though, whether that's what brought this helicopter down. It is possible, pretty hard, but possible, just with a rocket-propelled grenade to bring down a helicopter. It's even possible with sustained small arms fire, although these helicopters tend to fly pretty high. I think we need to get some more details of exactly how this helicopter was brought down. For now, the Syrian state media are only reporting that it's come down, not that it was shot down.
James Bays reporting from Beirut. Thank you, James.